Hey, and welcome back to Builder Funnel Radio. This is another edition of the Growth Series, and today we are going to be talking about our State of Home Builder and State of Remodeler marketing reports for 2019 and everything that we uncovered from surveying builders and remodelers all over the country. So I think you'll get a lot out of this episode. There's some interesting insights, and we're going to dive right in. All right, guys, let's dive right in. So today I wanted to talk about some of the key insights and statistics that we pulled out from our reports that we did this year. Now, if you've been following us for a while, you know that we've launched the State of Builder marketing report early in 2019 and the State of Remodeler marketing report in Q3 of 2019. Now, these are both available to you guys. We've got some easy URLs for you to use. We'll link them up in the show notes, but they are also buildermarketing.report and remodelermarketing.report, and that'll take you right there. You can get access to the guides, to the reports. They're about 40 or 50 pages long, but they've got tons of good information from surveys that we did for builders and remodelers all over the country. Now, one of the first things I want to talk about is that both about 80% in both reports said that their biggest challenge was converting leads to sales. And so I think in the State of Remodeler marketing report, it was 80%. In the State of Home Builder marketing report, it was 79%. So a very common thread throughout the industry is converting leads into sales. And so what I wanted to talk about there is that we kind of need to be playing the long game. And I think what a lot of us are seeing is that we're getting a lot more leads through the website. You know, before digital marketing, a lot of our leads were just referral based or word of mouth, and those people were typically ready to buy now. And so today what we're seeing is that tons of people are doing research online, and so you might generate a quote unquote lead, and they are a lead, they just may not be at that buying decision. So if you haven't listened to our past episode of the Growth Series, actually I think it was episode 64, where we talk about building the marketing funnel, I really encourage you to check out that episode because I dive super deep into this concept of kind of playing the long game and building out the funnel, so to speak. But I think that is what's going on, is people are experiencing this big influx of leads because they're getting a lot of people filling out forms on their website, but a lot of them are in research mode. And so not that many are actually ready to buy today. And so again, that's, I think, one of the critical pieces that will help you in terms of tackling that opportunity and that challenge going into the next year. On that same note, I think one of the other challenges that's related to that statistic is really that in this industry, we see a lot of people that they're business owners and they're really craftsmen. That's how you got into the business. And so maybe you aren't necessarily a salesperson or you haven't had formalized sales training. And so converting leads to sales is one of the biggest challenges. And we definitely see that. I see that when I'm talking to people on a weekly basis, is that craftsman background. And so that's okay. It's just recognizing that, hey, okay, this is maybe where one of my weaknesses is. I'm a master craftsman. I'm an expert on the tools. And now that I'm transitioning in my business to a sales role, leadership role, I need to learn those capabilities and improve those capabilities. So I think that is a big takeaway that I uncovered from this stat, and also what I'm hearing kind of boots on the ground from people is that, hey, if the challenge is around converting leads to sales, then that's a sales training issue, and that's something that's super solvable. It's going to take practice, it's going to take reps, it's going to take role playing, but that is the opportunity there. All right, so let's move on to something else. One of the other things that I pulled out of these reports is that 45% said that they had never posted to their company blog. That kind of blew me away, just because we've been blogging for almost 10 years now and have certainly seen the positive effects of what comes from blogging. But I wanted to kind of lay out the opportunity, because it sounds like by definition, probably about half of you have never posted a blog to your website, or maybe you don't have a blog and maybe don't know why you should be blogging. And so we've definitely talked about this in previous episodes on Builder Funnel Radio, but kind of the short, quick answer on it is that a blog impacts your SEO in a really positive way. So it'll allow you to start ranking for different keywords and getting found in Google as people are doing research. The other big piece of it is that you start to build credibility and authority. And it's this idea of kind of thought leadership marketing that I've been talking a lot about. And the idea is, as people are doing their research, they do a search, they find your blog, they're consuming that information. If they get value out of that information, then they associate that with your brand and oftentimes with your own personal brand and whoever wrote that blog and is the author of that content. And so as you start to build out your website, think of it as a resource for what you offer. So if you're a remodeling company, it's a resource for anybody thinking about remodeling, and suddenly you become the hub, you become the go-to for this information. So if you're not blogging, I would highly, highly encourage you to build that into your 2020 marketing plans because of those two core reasons. One, it has a big impact on your SEO or your search engine optimization. And then two, really that thought leadership component. And that can be a differentiator when you get people browsing around, bouncing to different websites. And if they're getting tons of value out of your site, then you get elevated in terms of the conversation or in the mind of the prospect. So make sure you put blogging into your 2020 plans. So along that same vein, 66% of companies said that they're posting once a week or less to social media. And it was actually 9% that are not posting to social media at all. So a big chunk of you are only posting once a week. This is a big problem because as we think about this thought leadership marketing and being active in the marketplace, building your personal brand, building your company brand, social media plays a critical role in that. That's where a lot of people do research. It's where they go to get inspiration and ideas. And that's where they talk about their experiences with companies like yours. And so if you're not playing in that space and you're not active in that space, you're going to get left behind. There's some companies that are doing some great things in the social media world. And so again, if we think about content, blogging, which we just talked about, and then social media, they go hand in hand in a lot of ways, but then they're also very different because people are researching in different ways when they land on those pieces. Somebody might do a Google search for something very specific and land on your blog, whereas on social media, they're kind of browsing or they're looking you up to kind of check you out and see what you're doing. And so if you don't have a presence there, you automatically lose credibility compared to your competition that maybe has a very strong presence there. So it's a great opportunity to show off the quality work that you do. We're lucky enough to be in an industry where we can deliver, an amazing product, and that displays very well through video and photos, and video and photos do excellent on social media. So we really have to take advantage of that. So if you don't have social media as kind of in your 2020 plans as a very active part of those 2020 plans, I would also put that in the mix as you're thinking about next year and where you want to invest. But I know a lot of you are planning to do that because 1/3 said that they were either planning to add Facebook video, Instagram, or YouTube as a regular part of their content distribution. So that tells me that a lot of people are thinking about video, which is awesome. Again, it's a hugely powerful tool. And then also thinking about stepping up just their visual game. Again, Instagram, photo and video heavy, Facebook video, that's great. Hopefully some of you are testing out with the live feature as well. And then YouTube is purely video. And so we've certainly seen that in terms of just posting to social media. Video tends to perform better. As consumers, we're pretty lazy. So as we're scrolling through our feed, we'd much prefer to watch a video than read something. And so I would encourage all of you that are already planning to continue with those plans, to start working in more and more video into your marketing efforts. And if you're not, again, put that on your radar. That's something that is each year is becoming more and more impactful, especially as we see new social networks start to crop up. Video is such a huge component of that. TikTok is one of those platforms. It's very early innings on that one, but it seems to be exploding. We don't have a ton of experience with it yet, but it's purely a video-based platform. And so that is something to keep in mind as you consider the digital space, the social media space, is that video needs to be a big part of that. One of the statistics that I was glad to see was actually about 2/3, so 67% said that growing their organic or SEO presence was one of their top priorities. And this is definitely an episode where we're not going to do a deep dive into the topic of SEO, but I'm going to include one of our best resources on this in the show notes. We've got two great resources. We have a monster pillar page or power page on the topic of SEO. It covers it extensively. And so we'll link that up so that you can get a good background on what is involved with SEO. And then we also have a nice checklist that kind of simplifies things for you. So if you have questions about kind of where to get started or how to tackle that topic, definitely the scope is super large, so we won't tackle it here for today, but I'll definitely link those up in the show notes. And we're seeing that more and more. You know, people are getting more savvy on the web. They're competing for rankings, and we all know the power of kind of nailing down those top few spots on page 1 for certain keywords, because we typically don't go to page 2 in our own research. And if we go to page 2 or page 3, we know we're really struggling to find what we need. So definitely focusing on search engine optimization moving forward, solidifying some of those top positions in your market is going to be critical and continue to be critical moving forward. So I'll make sure to link up those resources in the show notes for you guys. All right, shifting gears a little, there was another interesting one in there. It was 35% of you said that you feel like outdoor advertising, so TV, radio, billboards, is overrated. And that actually was a smaller percentage than I anticipated. So it means that a lot of people are still participating in a lot of that media. Hopefully you're still getting value in it. There's definitely a lot of value to be gained with synergizing your offline and your online marketing efforts. So that's something to keep in mind as you're continuing to invest in these kind of traditional channels. Make sure that you've got a good way to tie that into your digital efforts. If you're branding and exposing a lot of people to your brand and driving them back to the website, you want to make sure you're able to capture those people that are coming to the website, whether they're in research mode at the top of the funnel or at the bottom of the funnel and ready to have a conversation or talk to a salesperson. So that was just kind of interesting to me. A lot of people are still investing in those channels. So I would just say, just make sure that you're tying that back into your digital strategy and trying to track as much of it as you can. All right, so let's close out by talking about CRM. So 18% of you said that you don't use a CRM at all, and 27% said that their biggest challenge with CRM is under usage. Now, CRM is customer relationship management tool, and that is how you track your sales pipeline. You track leads coming in, you can see what source they're coming from, and then as they move into your deal pipeline, you can see, you know, what stage of the sales process they're in, and you can start to track the effectiveness of both your sales pipeline, and if you've got it tied into your marketing channels, you can see where ultimately those deals and that revenue is coming from in terms of your marketing sources. So if you're not utilizing a CRM, this piece is critical, especially as lead volume starts to go up, which we're seeing because more and more people do research online. So you're capturing more leads earlier in the process. And so we don't want to lose track of those leads when they're ready to buy 6 months, 9 months, 12 months down the road, sometimes multiple years down the road. And so having that CRM set up, having a systematic way of staying in touch with these people is absolutely critical. And so we're actually in the process of launching a monster power page on CRM. We have some recommendations in there, why it's important. We break down a bunch of the different tools that are out there in the marketplace. So we'll make sure to put that in the show notes as well so that you guys can get a good overview of what a CRM is, how to utilize it, and then also our thoughts and recommendations on how you should select one and move forward with one. So again, there were a lot of interesting things in these reports. If you guys want to download the full reports, we've got them hosted at remodelermarketing.report and buildermarketing.report. So if you go to either of those URLs, you can download either one or both of the full reports and look at all the data. And we're doing this every year, both for builders and remodelers, because we want to gather kind of what's working, what the challenges are, and then we can provide you guys with some of the solutions, recommendations on how you can tackle those going forward. So definitely keep your eye out. Next year, early 2020, we'll be starting to do our surveys. And so we'll send links out for that. And if you download those reports, we'll make sure to send you the survey. We do a drawing and some fun stuff with it. So if you participate, we really appreciate it. But the more of us that fill out that data, the better the reports are going to be over time and the more valuable they'll be to you guys. So hope this episode was interesting. Hope it was helpful. We're looking forward to launching next year's reports. These reports were super insightful, and we'll see you next time on Builder Funnel Radio.